long-form, open discussion podcast. Topics include sensitive issues such as sex, religion, politics, race, gender, death, BDSM, MFN, CFNM, MMF, MMFM, and healthcare. Do not try this at home.
Get your motherfucking ass up when I'm talking.
So hold on tight. The action starts now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
And here we go.
Okay. So, what is it? It's 2020. We're like 2 weeks into this shit. No, but what I wanted to say, and I wanted to wait till we start recording. I think it's weird. It's a weird thing that people do. And now I understand fucking taxes. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're one of those hardcore gun people that you absolutely have to have guns, and you're not, you're gonna live somewhere that has very lax gun laws. But to me, that shit should come secondary to how nice the place is you live. And it's like we were talking about before when we talked about North Dakota, and everybody's like, oh, all the money's there. But realistically, and we'll be honest, we're grown men, it's an ugly place. Especially like the Badlands, it's an ugly place. But there's a ton of money there. So I think it's weird. It's like a guy eating food, like a bodybuilder eating food for the nutrition and not the taste. Mm-hmm. But that's just me, though.
Yeah, but results driven. So, like, it depends on, like, North Dakota's ugly and one side of the coin, and the other side of the coin is aside from all the oil wells, it has its own unique, environment, obviously. So, but everything is new. The roads, the houses, etc.
But that's a weird thing, like, because it gets unbearably cold. There's almost no culture there, and it's just being raised by Walmarts and oil field workers.
Well, yeah, and then the thought is that it's one of those places that creates opportunity so you can afford culture, versus living in an area that has nice trees, horrendous roads, fucking goddamn welfare, neighborhoods, because there's a sushi place down the street, so. Where do you cut your losses? Where's the upside?
Well, okay, so for example, I'm in California, right?
Yep.
For anybody that still listens to this bullshit, it was like 70% a decision on my part. I won't say I was wholeheartedly going into this.
7%, you said?
70. Okay. 7%. I'd still be freezing my ass off in Michigan.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful place. That's the first and foremost thing about California. It's incredibly beautiful.
Depending on where you're at, because
nobody counts Northern California.
Yeah, but a lot of where you're at, the state, because the state is fucking huge. So it's hard to. It's kind of like putting everything into one jar, and you're not going to be able to do that with California. I mean, half of the fucking state is uninhabitable.
All right, let me drop a bomb. Southern California, but at the same time, here's my qualm about the state. So where I currently stay, the part of the city I currently stay in, is I don't personally like it. It's got too much of a Midwestern feel to it, and it's just kind of dry, and it's for people that like fucking dirt bikes and barrel racing. And beer out of a can.
Yeah, but dirt bikes are fucking badass anyway,
Yeah, no, and that's fine. That's fine. But for example, I was talking to a friend this morning, and I told her, because I don't really like East County, and I said San Diego, they call it America's finest city, but they don't call it that because of El Cajon or Ramona or Santee or Lakeside. They call it that because of the fucking, 20 miles of beautiful shoreline. They don't call it that because you drive 15 miles east and you start getting into the mountains, and then you see all the horse trails, and that's where you're probably going to get bit by a rattlesnake. And the guys start tucking their ears into their hats.
Yeah, so does it really matter how pretty the coastline is if one can't afford to do anything but work?
Well, that's the opposite side of the spiritual coin that I was talking about in North Dakota. Yeah, there's great roads and everything. Yeah, there's great roads or whatever,
insurance.
right? And there's Circle K, and there's Come and Go, right? But it's ugly. And
But you have Amazon too, so I mean,
and it's desperately cold.
You know, and
Right,
most people live indoors the majority of their life anyway. Now, watch TV, you know, fuck around on the phone.
Oh,
the
brother, dude, you
computer.
should see me. Any chance I get to escape, I'm fucking out of here. Even the other day, I took my kids to the beach. I just fucking stood there.
Yeah, yeah.
I just
Did you
stood
see
there.
any of the trash coming out of the river coming from Mexico that I just watched a documentary on?
No, I'll be honest. Here's where you're gonna hate me, and I know that's hard to do. As a reminder, you're listening to the Repeat Offender Podcast, a Podcast One radio program. But I like being places where the price, the cost of living keeps away a certain element.
Even if you don't have the monetary means to.
No, it's fine. No, and I don't, because I
Yeah.
live in a bedroom right now
Yeah.
with my entire family, like a bunch of Mexicans. One bedroom, right? But I would rather go like shop, eat, hang out in a place where I know I'm not going to see the same stuff that I see over here, because they're like, oh, it's cheaper, so we hang out here. You know, it's like going to a bar. It's like I'd rather go to a nicer bar where you're not going to have the toothless guy asleep at the end of the bar.
So it almost sounds like you want Gucci, but you got flea market money, so you make a deal with the Nigerian, knowing that $15 bill is not the real thing, but it makes
Madonna,
you feel
give me
good.
my baby back. Madonna, give me my baby back. Bro, there's motherfuckers at the Kobe swap meet that have fistful of cash, all right?
Yeah.
That dude from fucking what's that swap meet show? Is it the fucking Storage Wars or whatever?
Storage Wars.
I don't know. I've never seen that show, but I guess one of the guys, and he's like, "Yup," or whatever. He goes there and he's got his fucking trailer. It's got his fucking picture all over it. And you see him. And here's another weird thing about life that I think is odd. You see these guys, and they look a certain way because their faces are photoshopped because you see them everywhere. And then you see the person in real life. This motherfucker's broke dick and old, got a cane. It's like, bro, update your pictures then.
Yeah, but that might not sell. You know what I mean? And anyone that understands money knows that if you want to be successful or wealthy, you need to be in sales.
No, I get that. I'm just saying it's
You
such
can
a fucking
sales
letdown
or
because
you can be a laborer.
that shit does not fly on Tinder or Grindr, whatever way you swing. It shouldn't go for sales. You shouldn't see like a realtor's face. You're like, oh, she looks like 35, and then you see her, you're like, oh, you're Sally Struthers. Oh, okay. It's a lie, sir. It's a
It seems
lie.
like,
It's like
you kind of went into something there. I think that if you want like stable relationships, I think that there should be probably a 20-year gap in a relationship.
well, older women, in my experience, no condoms, no diseases.
You know, and they're stable. They probably got their money and their life set, so they're done with the fuckery. And the same way goes, on the other side of that, men in middle to later life are usually stabilized. Their finances are intact. They're done with the fuckery. So there's an upside to that. There should probably be a 20-year rule.
Well, it's because with older women, you know that they're probably got out of a stale marriage or their husband's dead and they want to fuck, and you can blow a hot load of man chowder inside them, and you're not going to get that call like, oh, we're going to have a baby together, because even if you do, the child has a higher percentage of being mentally retarded, and now you got all kinds of problems, and her being old isn't one of them anymore.
Yeah, and they don't change the fact that she's a cunt. She's probably still a cunt. It's probably gotten worse with years, with age. Yeah. Like a wine.
But then older guys, right? You say you're a girl, you say you're a pretty girl, you don't really want to work, you didn't have a dad growing up, you're probably going to go with an older guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though like when you pull down his pants to suck his dick, his balls look like a dehydrated Tweety bird.
Yeah. So in California, and then obviously Michigan and stuff, they're really relatable as far as ideologies. But what is y'all's thoughts on the West Coast about cunt? About the word cunt?
That doesn't bother words. See, words don't bother me. People like moist and cunt and twat. No, I haven't heard twat. I wish people would say twat more.
I don't know. That kind of twat kind of goes in with the canned beer thing, I think.
Well, here's the way my grandma told me is that a guy can call a woman a cunt and a woman calls a woman a twat.
Okay.
But neither word sounds good when somebody tells it to you. Oh, Thomas, fuck my cunt. Oh, Thomas, finger my twat. Oh, Thomas, get it, not in my eye.
No, I think, well, I wasn't meaning in reference to the vaginal cavity. I was talking about it fucking, her being a bitch, but okay.
Whoa. We don't use that kind of language in this household.
Yeah, I'm sure.
My swearing has gone up probably 30-40% since I've been here.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you're at that point in your life where you're just kind of like, I feel like I'm so close to not giving a fuck that
I think you just go on.
It just emanates from me like a fart.
Yeah, you got to call one of them $300 lawyers you see on the billboard and go ahead and file the paperwork and be done.
It's just everything else.
No, because I watched that Six Underground. I didn't watch all of it, really. I'm lying. I watched probably about 20 minutes of it. And dude's like, he's a billionaire or whatever, and he faked his death or whatnot, and that's when he became free, right? So he was done with all expectations and responsibilities for the most part. So I think religion and marriage are probably a form of mass control.
Mass control? You think so?
Yeah, mass control, the population, people in general. Responsibility is a way to make you productive members of society and contribute and go to CVS and buy prescriptions, vitamins, and cough syrup.
Speaking of cough syrup, today I was just released from Facebook jail.
Yeah.
I got to walk out the front gates. They handed me back all the stuff I came in with, my wallet, some keys, right? A crumpled dollar bill. And I walked out the front and I took a cab here.
Damn.
Right? And then I commented and nobody said anything and I felt alone.
Yeah, ain't nobody. I think people the world kept moving, man, while you was doing your time and kind of isolated. People just kept on moving.
I mean, bad dad joke time. I haven't been on Facebook since last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You cheesy
so
as fuck, nigga.
Yeah, so I fucking feel like Brooks from the Green Mile. You know what I mean? What the world went and got itself in a damn hurry.
You kind of look like a younger Brooks. I can see it. And,
that's what I'm saying, dude. Next thing you know,
another 72 years. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
So I get out of Facebook jail, right? And in 2020, I missed everything.
Yeah.
There's been earthquakes, fires, dead koalas. The internet thinks we're going to war. People are fighting.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole Iran thing is kind of crazy. And everybody acted like they was fucking shocked when they realized that the Iranians shot the plane out. As soon as that shit broke, I knew the motherfuckers had shot the plane. I mean, that's common sense. But what was kind of weird is that they had 2 earthquakes at the same time, like not the same time necessarily, but in the same time frame.
From what I understand, our State Department had accepted that it was a misfire of a surface-to-air missile.
I don't know what the fuck. I don't think there was no misfire. The motherfuckers had somebody important on that goddamn plane and they killed him.
Well, no, nobody mans those things. They're basically autonomous for when something.
Oh, that sounds amazing and that sounds great. Or if somebody's trying to slide out the country real quick with information that could be catastrophic, and they're gonna shoot it the fuck out too.
I don't. Did it leave out of Iran?
Yeah, it left out of fucking Iran. It's Iran, Han.
It's Iran. It's Iran.
No, it's
Iran.
If you were in Iran, you better outrun. You better run the fuck up out of there.
That's worse than my fucking dad joke.
Okay. Yeah, but you don't run far, nigga, because it's fucking desert and you're going to die of dehydration. So, you know what I mean?
So up to this point, from what I understand, there was some back and forth. We drone strike them. They attacked. We struck back, killed this motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't
right?
think we struck first. I'm just gonna throw that out there. The shit's been going back and forth for fucking goddamn 35 years, or longer. And but this round here, I definitely don't think that we struck first. I think we've been sitting on our fucking hands with our fucking peanuts tucked in our ass cheeks, scared to make a move. Worried that one of the little greasy bastards was gonna sneak on a plane with some bad material and fuck up one of our cities. So, anyways.
Well, I'm trying to dance around because once we rub against
there's a
the
man
wet paint
in
of 9/11,
there's a man in you that is angry and would like to just be done with it and see their entire country fucking eradicated off of the face of the planet, good, bad, right, or wrong. Regardless of where you're at with it, and the concept of cooler minds prevailing. Sometimes there's a very aggressive part in the American psyche that's like, all right, I'm done fucking with them. Let's make the brains leak, And I know the severity of how that sounds, but at what point of a man unwantedly groping your old lady do you have enough and rack his fucking head?
Well, here's the thing. As the tone of the podcast, and as I try to state, is I like to be somewhere neutral in between both sides.
Yeah,
looking up,
God sent a flood, okay? And if we had a flood now, their fucking sand houses would fucking dissolve.
They are not sand, all right? I believe it's some kind of masonry.
Yeah, made out of camel shit.
What is camel shit called? Is Oh, no, it's bat shit. Both sides are the aggressors here.
Yes.
No, we haven't. America's not the good guy. We haven't stopped anything. My issue, because as anybody knows, I don't have a problem with the Republican Party, I hate libertarians. But I don't have a problem with an entire party. I just do not like one man, Donald J. Trump. And if you look at the timeline up to this point.
Yeah.
And what bothers me is that it doesn't. Okay, let me say this to say this. So you know how motherfuckers are like, don't trust the government.
Yeah, don't trust the government.
And for 10 plus years, as long as social media's been around, the same motherfuckers that are like, don't trust the government, you can't trust the government. For some reason, they seem to be trusting the government recently, right? Which is hilariously ironic. So if you look at the timeline that was released to us, blah blah blah, they attacked an embassy, blah blah blah, we killed this dude, right? He looks like the fucking dad from John Wick. You just killed Baba Yaga. Which, by the way, great trilogy. So, and then it's fine, but the reasoning and justification that has come from the current administration has been back and forth. There hasn't been like, we did it because this.
Well, I think a lot of that shit, is beyond us, right? As much as you want to be transparent, there's no way you can unload every ounce of fucking information on the American people. I mean, the fucking crowd can't handle it. It's like if mom and daddy's fighting because mama sucked the neighbor's dick. The kids don't necessarily need to know that mama was sucking the fucking neighbor's dick.
Well, that's been my entire point talking about conspiracy theories. You really want the motherfucker that's having a trouble, trying to scan his bag of charcoal briquettes at the fucking self-checkout the grocery store? You really want him to know all the truth? You think that's going to be helpful or pertinent to the advancement of society by having Gus the motherfucker that's like standing on a sidewalk staring up at the sun while you're trying to get by him to know the truth? No. What would even a quarter of this goddamn country do with the truth?
Probably go to California and dehydrate.
Bro, we're so fucking hydrated out here, it's disgusting.
That's why they have California raisins. Dehydration.
I think that was a racist thing. Did you just do a racism?
Yeah, I'm just chilling, man. I think that there is no easy answer when it comes to war, but I know that we've been pussyfooting around over there for too long in the name of corporate profit. But here's the problem with that, okay? All that bullshit there aside, these motherfuckers are extremely fucking repressive. All of them fucking goddamn sand kingdoms are repressive regimes of their people. Like, they kill massive
Bro, you got to be 21 to smoke in America.
Yeah, I understand that, but we got fucking air conditioning too. You got to pick your battles. You got to pick your battles.
Hold on. I'm checking this. Does
if they do, it's solar energy. I promise you, because they have nothing but the fucking sun. But then again, solar energy.
There's a Wikipedia.
Yeah.
There's a Wikipedia. Okay.
The Supreme Ruler has it.
Iran has extreme and arid climate. It can get very hot in the daytime, cool down considerably at night, long before electricity and air conditioning were invented back when Iran was called Persia. Staying cool in these conditions required ingenuity. That's how wind catchers. So apparently they
have tubes that they direct the wind.
So apparently it's a thing up high. It's like a window.
Slaves with a fan. That's what it's called, slaves.
So apparently they crucified Jewish people upside down and spun them like a fucking prize wheel, and that's how they cooled off the Shah.
Oh, well, that would explain, why so many people die there.
And then they had to make the air conditioning noise. Ooh. Apparently it's a thing, but I guess. Why can't you just get a yes? Air conditioning in the Iran desert.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, so we I'm all about, nations having their own rule and all that. That's fucking awesome. But you can't be oppressive to all these goddamn people, killing them motherfuckers.
Bullshit.
Their schools and hospitals and shit's all shot up. You know what I mean? These military fucking regimes that just disappear people, and it's all bullshit. There ain't even a way for a poor person to sell drugs to get money for a decent lawyer. They don't even have it there. I don't think they even allow Jewish people there. And if they do, apparently they're air conditioners.
Do you think they got good weed in Iran?
No, but they do probably smuggle some of the heroin on the back of camels there.
Cannabis in Iran, the Wikipedia. There you go. It's fucking there. In 1989, the Iranian government enacted a law providing the death penalty for possession of hashish in excess of 5 kilograms.
Death, nigga.
Death. That alone means we should have fucking nuked them people a long time ago.
I'm just saying, man. At some point, someone has got to draw a line and be
in the sand.
Yeah, look. Okay, so if your neighbor was unconscionably beating his wife and kids because he was a fucking alcoholic every day, at what point would you go over there and whop him with a goddamn shovel handle?
Not prior to 1989.
Yeah, okay, all right, not prior. So obviously it's no longer 1989. We're way ahead. So as you matured and you understand and you thought as a man, something in you, and if you thought he was going to whip your ass, you remember, you can always, ram him with a truck or your electric vehicle. And being in California, you could probably ram him with a Tesla. It makes torque from the go. I'm just saying, nigga, at some point, like, it don't matter where you fall and you worried about whether they're trying to bomb one of our buildings, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like a dog. If it's all fucked up and got hit by a car, do you do a mercy killing and put it out? And You know, or do you allow it to suffer? And that's kind of how I feel about the Iranian people and these other fucking sand kingdoms. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hold on. Did you just refer to the Iranian people as dogs? The United States loves our Iranian brothers and sisters.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you might have to put actions where the words are then.
Now, when I was in college, I used to go to an Iranian strip club. All right? There were no windows. They just had the wind catchers come in, right? And the woman, over a period of 4 days, would slowly take off her headgear.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
I've never had a better blowjob than from an Iranian.
He was a boy. He was a boy. 14 years old.
White women, especially American, cannot suck dick.
Damn.
Like, the other day, I was going down on Michelle, sucking her dick.
Yeah, I'd just be chilling though.
You know, that's like Obama fucking hits up Soleimani, and he's like, oh, Barack, when my friend, he's like, don't call me your friend, motherfucker. I invited you to my barbecue. Oh, you know I cannot eat pork. Motherfucker, there's other things. There's beef and hamburgers. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, because hamburgers is beef, I think.
Beef like hamburgers.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Australia's on fire, right? And that little fucking retarded chick from Norway, she's still running around saying it's climate change.
Yeah, that little cunt there. I don't know. I guess that's all it really takes to be super wealthy and shit is to get some old white nigga to give you some money to be a mouthpiece.
Yeah, you're telling me it doesn't bother you that the president spray tans?
I don't really give a fuck what this nigga does. The president is just a fucking a representative, man. The
Bro,
powers in
at some
Congress and
point,
Senate. You know what
at
I
some
mean?
think about your week, right? You're sitting there in Ohio.
Yeah,
Ohio sucks.
I could give a shit.
At some point,
this nigga's fucking...
Donald Trump is naked in a stand-up booth.
So let me ask you, what's worse than that? Okay, is it worse that this motherfucker is naked getting orange fucking spray paint, or does it bother you to see these fucking women on TV with makeup that stops at their chin, and their fucking chest and their face and ears are 3 different colors?
Okay, so I've never dated a woman that uses an excessive amount of makeup, right?
Okay, it bothers me. Like, it fucking bothers
No,
me.
it would. So like I was in a makeup store with my wife today, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm checking out the women. Oh, fucking black security guard who was Nigerian because he said, "Oh, hello." Sitting there just like he worked in this Ulta beauty store. I'm like, this motherfucker's in heaven right now, dude, because he's just checking out all that fucking chaunch. So we go out, we get in line. There's all these women, and I'm looking at the women, and I'm thinking, God damn, these girls have a lot of fucking makeup on.
Yeah.
So you see, like, you see, like, all these fucking famous chicks and the guys that are banging them, and it's like, when you go home, say you're at the club, right? To use the parlance of our times, say you're at the club, and you take this chick home, and she's got a fuck ton of makeup on.
You piss on her face.
Okay, before that, though. Like, before that.
Oh, okay.
So, after you walk in the door, before you piss on her face, does she remove the makeup, or are you fucking with that makeup on?
No, the makeup stays on, and it takes her like 3 days to get it off. But by then, she's done reapplied because it's irritated her skin and her pores are fucking clogged. So it's created pit and pot marks, and then it's just like a vicious cycle of an old house. It's like an old house with lead paint. Did they remove the lead paint from the entire house, or did they paint over that motherfucker with latex?
Well, then because then you see and I'm doing air quotes. You see those brave photos of the women without makeup. It's like, bitch, there's nothing brave about it. Your face, your skin naturally looks like that. because you put so many fucking chemicals on your face at all times for hours of the day, and then you use other chemicals to remove those fucking chemicals. You're being treated like an old warehouse every time they get a new leasee.
Bunt.
And it's like, oh, it's horrifying. And I'm looking at my wife, and I'm like, she puts on just a little bit of makeup. But it lasts her like 6 months.
Yeah, I'm more of a minimalist when it comes to the women in makeup. You know what I mean? I don't really care for too much of it. It's like, I don't give a fuck how clean the car looks if it's full of fucking Bondo. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that? Oh shit, you hit a speed bump, nigga, and your entire rear end fell off.
And then what happens when they're sucking your dick, and all of a sudden you got like this makeup face print on your?
What happens if you're having an affair and all that makeup transfers to your clothes?
And next thing you know, your crotch and your dick look like Dumbo when he was dressed up like a clown.
Yeah, and it smells. A lot of that makeup fucking smells. It's not attractive.
Bro, I walked by this guy today in Target. It was like, dude, back
niggas
off
are
the
wearing
axe.
Men are wearing concealer and shit now.
Are they? You think so? In Ohio?
Yeah, like everywhere. I mean, it's cool, nigga. Do you? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, fuck that.
You ever? So. That makes me think of a point I wanted to make about. So, we've got a lot of different factions of life nowadays, and one of them are transgender people.
Yeah.
And I can't say shit. If you feel like you want to be something, to do whatever the fuck you want. You're not free of being made fun of. Like, you don't, just because you want to do something.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world is open to be made fun of.
I can trip the fuck out on whatever I want to.
So if you want to, you're free. Go ahead and say you're a woman. But at the same time, I'm probably gonna make fun of you. The same way I'll make fun of.
You know what's funny?
An actual
is to see
woman.
someone. Yeah, because I'll make fun of them all. But to see someone who say transgender and then be super critical of people, mocking them, and then to be like racist against like Mexicans,
Oh, bro, hold on. Let me make this point. I got a story to tell you.
Yeah.
The thing I think is weird about like trannies, that's what I'm gonna call them just for short. That's just because I haven't gotten the time to know you all. They're picking the worst parts of a woman, which is like the materialistic fucking wearing makeup parts, right? The like you see the fucking little 16-year-old gay dude on YouTube that's doing the makeup tips. That's fine, but it's just you're creating this superficial air about you. You're taking the one part of a woman that it's why they're being oppressed and boxed in. They're being oppressed and boxed in because they're like, oh, women are expected to be beautiful. So now you're taking that and you're just exacerbating it, pissing off the feminists, pissing off the bull dykes, which all look like me, and it's just a terrible situation.
Yeah, you're right about that. They're self-repressive.
So, I got this job. I don't really like it. I hate most aspects of my life right now, but at least I'm alive or all that stuff. You've got to be appreciative of. And I get this guy. He's my trainer. He's teaching me. Dude's a straight up fucking old school cholo, and I love it. He called me the N-word more than you ever have in a year.
Did
he? Yeah.
Damn.
He's like, oh, let's go, man. Dude, it's fucking fantastic, and it makes me feel good. And he gets on the CB, and he's like, what you doing? I love that stuff, because black people feel really comfortable saying the N-word around me, so...
Does he like Trump?
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, he's one of those MAGA Mexicans.
Yeah, that's
so the MAGA
in real talk, it seems like anyone who works or is a business owner or works blue collar trades is a Trump supporter. Now
because they don't have deeper understanding.
Then you have people who are like cashiers at Pep Boys, who are 23-year-old fucking medical assistants. College people that are going to college on a bunch of debt that they don't even understand how it works. People who live in California, you know, and not to stereotype the whole state, but there's sections of it. And then that's who doesn't support Trump. So I'm kind of confused at what the difference really is. Like,
well,
it
to
seems
be honest,
to be responsible people and people with no clue how the world works.
Okay, so to walk back on that, I'm going to reference my personal sphere of influence. In my life, it is the boots and gloves wearing, putting in 18 hours a day, making, you know, $60,000 a year running a business because they don't want to expand.
The taxpayers?
People that when you talk to them don't have a don't have a deeper understanding. So they're just kind of like, they give you those like textbook 7-year-old like, well, you should come to this country illegally, right? But the people like that I know that are against him, and from what I understand, they're not saddled in debt. That's just kind of like a thing to say. Are teachers educated? One of them's a top level. She controls the wing of the. Okay, so there's this girl I'm friends with.
Yeah.
And she is the director of fucking something to do with surgeries for high-risk mothers during pregnancy.
Okay, so probably something to do with welfare.
No, she deals with women that are like having like the situation that the right wings try to say doesn't exist when the baby's gonna fucking kill the mother during pregnancy.
Okay.
She deals with that.
Okay.
So she's where I go to when you hear all these people talk about like when they come up with that fallible rhetoric from like, oh, there's babies aren't gonna kill the mother. There's never situations like that where they have to get rid of it.
All right.
But there's actually it's a more common situation that they want to admit. So I'm just saying, in my perspective and the people I know, just from the people I deal with, it's the regular, you know, 90% of any assholes that are pretty much pro-Trump, and it's the learned, higher earning people that I know that are like, nah, fuck this dude. He's a liar and an adulterer, and
All right, so here's my thing, right? So a lot of people who are, all right, quote unquote, learned, are actually really fucking detached, and fucking clueless to anything practical in the fucking world. Now, me, I believe in the concept of abortion. I believe it has so many implications and moral weight and all. I have a problem with a bunch of fucking low rent fucking whores using it as a form of birth control and bitches that fucking commit adultery to go whack a fucking baby and stuff like that. So, but we're not going to get into that because, I mean, that's a deep fucking rabbit hole. People in this fucking country, and especially learned people, we'll stick with that term, are apparently fucking stupid, okay, and lack common sense because the president is just a focal point, okay, and they continuously elect the same fucking entrenched motherfuckers to the House and Senate, and that is where your real policy and drivers of the country are set. And it makes people feel empowered to elect a president every 4 years, and think that they're going to change. I mean, they can put ideas out there. They can gain momentum, support. They can be criticized. They can be held accountable. And if they're doing a bad job, the country is doing a bad job, then they can get rid of him, and it gives people hope in the system. But Trump is just a representation of where people are at, man. It's not Trump or it's not Obama. It's these same fucking saggy faced motherfuckers that's been there for fucking 40 years that are creating these fucking policies.
Well, I think so. Regardless of what people want to say about like, oh, we have no control, we are still a government of the people in so much of the fact that the reason why we have these lifelong congressmen and senators is because they will do and say whatever they need to do to get their base and their party to go with them. So in terms of Trump, the issue with Trump is that people worship him more than any other president, Republican or Democrat, because there are people literally getting his name tattooed on. They're writing his name on big letters on their property. They're wearing clothes with his name all over it. And it's not in support of Republicans. It's literally of this man.
It's
right?
So, it's like this with the unions, right? So most unions vote blue. But all the people, okay, in the blue collar world, their careers are based in the Republican sector of what falls under work. But they're caught between two worlds because the red does not recognize unions, don't like unions, they're anti-union and so forth. You know what I mean? Unions are a good thing, but when it comes to for working class, but when it comes to like educators, when it comes to educators and stuff like that, like these motherfuckers are clueless. The only thing they understand is to continuously grow in tenure. Like you have bad fucking teachers, you can have horrendous fucking horrible fucking educators. You know what I mean? And they're still there. So I don't know, maybe the country is just too big. Maybe the country's too big. Maybe it needs to be broke up a little more.
I think our problem is we have too much freedom, but that's just me. This is what happens when you have too much freedom.
Thing. No, I don't think that. I think
it is
when you have well-to-do fucking emotional fucking women that went to graduate school trying to figure things out. They complicate it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, no. Do you have a dog or a cat? Yeah. No.
Yeah. It just
I wrote this.
Like I'm not pro-Trump, so let me clarify that. But I do have a problem with people who want to stand on moral fucking high ground and not understand the ramifications of it and point the finger at the orange god when most of the inactivity and confusion come from the representatives that they continuously put in office to think that all of a sudden they care about female rights. No, they don't. Do you know why the abortion thing is coming back up? It's because the population in the states is declining. People are having less children, and so they're trying to protect their tax base. And if the taxes are not continuously raised, if houses are not continuously bought and built, if products are not continuously consumed, then the nation fucking dies. And that's what it boils down to. But people are not really putting the two together for some reason.
Well, what I was saying is it's important, especially under this current administration, with people that are worshiping the man. And so if you look at the GOP right now, a lot of them are staunchly on his side. Not because they would believe in him. And if you look at their track record, not even in 10 years ago, 6 years ago, these guys were...
He was a Democrat.
Well, I'm saying these same people that are for this immoral, deeply dishonest man, blatantly and deeply dishonest...
What makes him different? Listen, so what makes him any different than the rest of the elected officials?
No, he doesn't. But that's a separate point.
But it's not.
Do you remember
Sean,
2016?
because they have the right to veto just like him.
Do you remember 2016?
Who? Yeah, I remember some of it.
The fucking I'll say the three main reasons. And it's important because most people vote based on very thin information and very fallible rhetoric.
Yeah, most people don't have time to actually dive
right. So they
fully educate themselves.
So they go and vote in droves, and it affects people's lives. So the three main things about Trump, why people voted for him, and this was almost across the board. The biggest one was this is not nobody's ever said this unanimously about a guy, is that he is not a politician. He will not lie. I can go back to fucking 100 people's fucking Facebooks.
That was hope. So that was the same campaign that Obama ran on hope.
No,
right?
that's saying he's not a politician.
Yeah, but
he will not lie.
They hoped that he would not lie.
No, they said he's not a politician.
I get the concept that he's not a politician in theory, okay? But if you think that man is not sitting in the room with Pelosi and Schumer and all the motherfuckers and McConnell and everybody, hashing out, making deals and chuckling and drawing lines and threatening each other and then having drinks, you know, you're fucking naive. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers are in the business, the same business.
I get it. But here's my point.
The country has a huge problem though with soloing out, just like they did with Obama. It's the same thing.
I'll
It's
boil this
not
down
the
to
president.
a simpler point.
It is to an extent.
People thought it's the president because he is the voice. He's allegedly the vox populi, the voice of the people. He represents the ebb and flow of the thoughts and hearts and minds of the country. So when you got some asshole up there, most of his supporters, I bet, don't watch his speeches at his rallies. The rambling, incoherent bullshit that comes out, they're not even sentences, right? My point about Trump, if it boils down to one thing, is, yeah, he is no different. But everybody likes to act like he is. He's no different. In fact, he's better at playing politician than any other person before him.
Yeah. I mean, that's
he's so much better at it. He's so much better at it
but that
than any other president.
That does not mean anything in the grand scheme of it, because you know his power truly is limited, right? I mean, it just is.
When you have the support of the Senate,
it absolutely is. Okay.
When you have the support of the Senate, yes.
The problem is that everyone is playing to the party, and instead of putting country first, they're definitely trying to file and rank. They're closing ranks in order to try and protect their individual selves instead of the job that they was elected to do. But on both sides,
because they want to stay in power.
Yeah, they want to stay in power. So when if our actual government, the Senate and the House, was doing their fucking job, the president would be so immaterial. I mean, he's a good representative. I mean, foreign leaders and business leaders and stuff can't go meet with 1,000 people, but they can meet with a central figure, and that's. Our president is supposed to be like an emissary. He should in theory be one who brings together, one who works shit out. Blah 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 blah. But we live in divisive times, and it's what it is. I mean, you have people have a tough time. People, when you talk about them turning out in droves to vote, people tend to vote like their friends and their social groups and stuff. But I mean, if you really want to learn stuff, you need to break up your social group and interact with people who have different opinions, so that you can truly understand and learn.
Well, do you want to know the scary thing?
50-year-old barren women in a fucking library of their fucking $1 million home talking about how offensive he is because he actually, had sex with a woman.
What? Jesus Christ! You're watching too many of his speeches. You're incoherent. No, and I brought this up before. In 2017, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, right? The greatest piece of legislation.
It's for rich people,
right? No, in the pages of that bill, included a provision for temporary armed conflict with Iran.
Yeah.
In 2017.
Okay, so who voted that in?
The majority of Republicans, and Trump signed it.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not surprising. And the real sad thing is, I honestly think that Donald Trump is the rambling, incoherent, inconsistent, self-righteous, undeserved voice of America, of a disturbing percentage of Americans.
Yeah, people are fucking fed up with the government as a whole, and Donald Trump was a representative of that, the idea of that. He might not have embodied and come to fruition what people wanted and what their expectations and the power of the driver that was behind it. But people are tired of fucking Rome, man. They're tired of Rome. You know what I mean? Where they're tired of seeing people fondle fucking kids and have wealthy fucking parties while mass segments of the fucking population are starving and homeless and losing all their shit, and then being told how good the economy is on TV. I mean, that's
okay.
It's not reality.
Is it different now?
No, because the same people who actually have the fucking power are the same fucking people. That's the point. But people, the majority of the United States, are so caught up on fucking paying their shitty little fucking bills that they lack education in how the government actually works. And again, that's what keeps the system in place, is the idea of the president. You know, the people think that if they focus all this money, time, and energy on the president, okay, these lower level elections where the power really lies, don't cost as much to run, and people retain their fucking their positions. And that's why the shit is stonewalled. That's why you have fucking 20,000 page fucking bills and shit that motherfuckers don't even know what the fuck's in them, and they're signing them.
You can't say that people don't know the government, because the second anything happens in the government, you jump on Facebook, and all of a sudden everybody's a constitutional scholar.
It's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. Motherfuckers know about the government what the third fucking result on the first page of Google tells them.
I'm not saying either way about the impeachment, but I love how people will parrot what their favorite party is saying. So
fuck the impeachment. Impeachment was the biggest waste of goddamn time and fucking money. I watched this motherfucker, and every one of them people on the left and the right, it was like watching a fucking shitty play. Like, everyone followed the procedure. They said the same fucking thing, every one of them, you know, either opposed or for. And it was such a shit show. And I thought about it. I was like,
you think that's the biggest waste of money?
And the jobs, think about it, in the news, in the TVs, in the people that bought the TV. I bought the TV, and you know, the internet providers, the cable providers, the cameramen, the lighting, the sound, the electricity. And I thought about all the fucking jobs and people's lives who was affected, down to fucking taxi drivers, all because of this fucking one hearing. It's like, you know, the ripple effect. And it was a waste of time. It was all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all bullshit. Either do something about it or don't do something about it, you know. But this dog, horse, and pony fucking show, this is like some outdated fucking medieval shit. All right. All you needed was one person to come up there with a fucking summary of both parties and say yes or no.
It doesn't necessarily work like that, but
it needs to work that way.
But Trump and his administration were given numerous chances to come testify, to provide witnesses, to answer questions.
They all know everything. This was all fucking window dressing.
Well, here's the thing. This is what I was talking about. Why it's still the voice of the people. So, the main thing when people want to talk about the impeachment, what I asked them,
there wasn't nothing tangible.
Did you read the transcripts? You'll get a no 100% of the time.
No.
You'll 100% of the time get a no. You have to read the transcripts, both the original copy and the one the White House released. the one the White House released after a week when they were finished with it.
Like anyone in power,
you have to read the statements.
They have to scrub it, Republican and Democrat.
Right, but this is not. But Donald Trump's not a politician; he doesn't lie. So you're supposed to read it. You're supposed to read.
You're so hung up on that one fact that you're.
That's why people voted. That's why people voted. They thought he was an outsider.
Man, people did not vote for him because they thought he wouldn't lie. People voted for him because the motherfucker, you know, they really hoped that he was different.
Say it.
Okay?
Say it. Say the one thing. Say the one thing. That he can't be bought. That Donald Trump is above a reproach and cannot be bought.
No, he's bought every day. I mean,
from
his land deals to his golf courses to his name.
He's more bought by foreign governments than any other president.
Every wife he's ever had is Russian, as a mail order.
Saudi Arabia owns Donald Trump.
You know, it's you know.
But what I'm saying is, you have to read the transcript. You have to read the one line where I'm gonna fuck up the quote.
Nobody was gonna fuck with Hillary. That's why he got elected. That's why he got elected.
And she's a terrible candidate.
You gotta read. It's not because the one line. Nigga don't lie. It's not because he don't lie. It's not because he ain't bought and paid for it. It's because the one choice of the Democrats to run Hillary. That is why he became president.
It's none of that. But what I'm saying is, you got to read the one line in the transcript where he says, "I need you to do me a favor."
Yeah.
I need you to do me a favor.
It's a simple
Yeah, but
line.
it's real.
Right.
Biden was corrupt. His son's corrupt. His son, what the
Right,
fuck
right,
his
right.
son
Listen,
doing for
right,
an
right,
Ukrainian
right,
oil
right,
company? You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Hold on. Listen. Right, and Donald Trump's daughter, who is not didn't get a background check, owns 100 patents now in China. But either way,
Yeah. So
do you think it's wrong?
Joe Biden can't fucking pop popcorn in a microwave, okay? And they want this.
Okay,
nigga to be
and that's
president?
fine. But do you think it's acceptable for a president, a sitting U.S. president, to ask for the help of a foreign government against a political rival? Yes, sir. That's the easiest yes or no question in the world.
Man, you know, it's they trade.
There's no two ways
so
about that.
much. You know, it seemed like we would have already had the information, but I don't really know. We can have casual conversations that can be misconstrued. I mean, all the time or not.
He withheld the aid. He withheld the aid from him. He
Yeah,
said
but we didn't have to give him the fucking aid if the nigga. They already apparently had a fucking investigation going, right? So if this was not a known investigation, you know, then the implications I think would be a lot bigger. But it's easier to pick this motherfucker apart. I mean, is it any different than the fucking goddamn Muslim God to give Iran, you know, the billions of dollars back? You know, I mean, it's
I'm glad you
easy
said
to
back.
It's easy to give. You know, to tear apart anything that you're already biased to. You know what I mean? Because you're already fucking slanted and you're definitely looking for that one goal. I mean, that's the problem with, you know,
Well, no, that's the problem. So people are going to bitch about corruption. They're going to bitch about the same thing.
It's just like a cop pulling into a neighborhood and finding a black man walking down the street where a white woman was killed. You know what I'm saying? They're going to create the fucking evidence. Now, but Trump, you know, obviously broke the rules. But the problem, and this works against Trump, is that he does not really know all the ins and outs because he's not career. You know what I mean?
Bro, you just brought up a cop.
Like
Ignorance.
Nancy Pelosi, she would know what she can say on that phone and what she can't, and what needs to be said in a closed door meeting.
Ignorance is no excuse for the law.
I understand that, but you know. Well, we're all grown-ups, and we can understand how things are done, and we understand that this is really common practice, and it's not unique to Trump.
Right, but if you want it to stop, if you think corruption is bad, it can't. Especially now when it's just blatant, it's not even hidden anymore.
No, it's not. And that's what people can't handle. It's all coming out the woodwork, and people can't handle it.
But it's right in front of their faces, and they're still going to bitch about corruption. Even though it's right there, they can do something about it, and they're just going to be like what you're doing. They're going to be like, well, other people have done it.
Yeah, but Sean, a lot of people don't know what to do. I mean, people don't know what to do. Like me, I can't vote. I'm not allowed to vote, okay? But I still pay taxes. No, I can't. I don't. My civil rights are completely fucking taken for life.
Didn't Florida
Yeah, but I didn't qualify for automatic clemency. I have to, you know, reapply and have a hearing and all this stupid crazy shit. And now that I live out of state and jurisdiction problems and the lawyer don't want to take it and blah 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 blah, stupid shit. So you know, it's because I'm poor. But people are caught up in their own situation, man. They're struggling just to go to fucking Walmart and buy some shitty fucking food. You know what I mean? Like,
so maybe they should stay home and not vote.
I don't know, man. I kind of think that you know they should probably put it on like the military. Like I think they should do like the Starship Troopers or whatever the fuck. Like, you know, if you want to vote and have kids and shit like that, then you need to serve. You want to go to college, you need to serve. You know,
service guarantees citizenship.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way.
No, you don't want half these motherfuckers to. You don't want half these dudes fucking. Have you heard, dude? The military's already full of motherfuckers, like 18-year-old kids. That if you hadn't smoked a joint prior to being 18, you're gonna automatically be allowed in.
Yeah, they I just think there's a lot of young men in prison and shit that come from poverty and abusive homes and fucked up situations. Instead of sending them to prison, they would have benefited from, you know, the opportunity to have some structure, you know, learn something and gain schooling and put money in the fucking bank, a guaranteed paycheck with health insurance. So, you know, I think the country's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you know, poor people who go to prison in the military because, you know, they seem more defiant, they're less likely to follow orders, they're more likely to question authority, blah, 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 blah. But what they don't realize is people are just hungry. You know, niggas are in an environment where, you know, they're going to eat.
You're a third-degree felon according to the state of Florida.
My felonies are minimal. I've never been to prison. You know, I had paid some restitution. You know, did some probation. You know, it's all dumb shit. But you know, the books are what the books are. Now, this past year, this is the fucking ironic. And from everything I can find, it's not necessarily retroactive. The crimes that I committed are now misdemeanors. They updated the laws. The laws were on the books for a long time, so they whatever. I was impoverished. I made bad choices. You know, I knew they were bad choices when I made them. I made the lesser of two evils. I made a bad decision out of two bad decisions. So, you know, I moved forward.
This is where I like the language of the law. Capital or life felonies are the most serious crimes in Florida, punishable by death or life imprisonment and a fine of up to $15,000.
Yeah.
Bitch, you sending me to prison for life. I'm not paying your fine. What are you talking about?
It's just a way for them to seize your property and shit. You know what I mean? So
I love when they sentence somebody like 200 years.
It's all plea bargains. I pled out, you know, and if I'd have had the money, you know, I wouldn't have called the charge. I mean, I wouldn't have pled to the charge. It was a financial.
If your father was rich, you wouldn't have been.
Yeah. So, but you know, I didn't have the money to do the donations and you know, the lawyer that needed to be done. So,
well, I think that's fucked up. I think it's fucked up.
I
think your voting. I'm looking, and I think your voting rights can be restored.
No, yeah, they can. Once I go through the procedures, okay. But being out of state and not having the lawyer money and stuff, it makes things a lot more difficult. There were situations where some of them were automatically restored, and others were not.
Individual petitions required for the restoration of voting rights. Hold on, I'm typing your name in.
It's, you know, it's
my initial one in the early 2000s were restored, and then in 2007 they became unrestored. So
Jesus
you know,
Christ.
it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I lived in a prison state, you know, with privatized prison, and fuck them. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean.
Fuck them, kill them, and eat them.
Yeah, so I got taxation without representation. So, you know what I mean? The best thing I can do is keep up with the podcast and put my opinions and views out there and influence.
Somebody's going to read that and be like, we're going to give this motherfucker back his rights. But he sounds like he was in Mobb Deep.
Yeah, they can still suck a motherfucking elephant dick.
That looks like a clown nose from all that fucking makeup chicks wear from Ulta. Shout out to Ulta. You could be a sponsor.
Yeah, I went in Ultra, man, and them motherfuckers was stinking to me, man. I was pipelining too, nigga, had fat pockets. And, you know, I'd buy their whole motherfucking life, you know what I'm saying? But, and not now, but I was buying the wife.
I got a preferred shopper card there.
Coat. I was buying the wife. I went in there, and, you know, it was a rain out, man, so I'm wearing my Buffalo leather shoes. I got my sweatpants on, full back hat, and a T-shirt, you know what I'm saying, my sleep clothes. And then, so I walk in the motherfucking Ultra, and I tell the bitch or whatever I need the motherfucking the jail coat shit. You know what I'm saying? They was instantly looking snooty at a nigga. So I'm trying to, you know, figure it out. And this bitch, and I'm telling the nigga to show them to me. You know what I'm saying? And this bitch instantly hand me this little $15 motherfucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch, my shoes cost more than everything you got on. You know what I'm saying? Get the fuck out of here. And but anyway, so I found the one I wanted. I bought it or whatever. But yeah, like Like, if I'd had to take a shit, I'd have probably shit on that bitch's counter.
Why would you shit on that bitch's counter?
To make her clean it.
She ain't going to clean it. That's not what they do.
Yeah, that's what they do. They have to clean their area.
I'm not touching that. Well, I'm sorry. It's part of the handbook.
That's part of the handbook, bitch. So
what I'm saying is the bitch had a stink attitude because I ain't fit the motherfucking norm of people coming up in there, but they know nothing about the fucking norm. You know what I'm saying? And which if I'd have had time and wasn't coming home to see my wife, I would have just ordered the shit online a better place and had it delivered. But I wanted to bring my wife home something nice in a bag, so I went in that motherfucker. But yeah, fuck them cunts. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck the police and fuck them cunts, dude. Let's close this bitch out. We're hitting that hour. We're going over time.
Yeah, I hear you. You're a wiener. That's right. I forgot. Y'all got to conserve electricity and water in California.
Yeah. I don't want to get fucking Gavin Newsom to send me a fucking bill.
Yeah. Shout out to Nancy Pelosi.
Shout out to Ulta Beauty. Shout out to Shiner Bock for the best tasting low-calorie Shiner Bock. Also brought to you by Red Bull. Red Bull No Sugar, Red Bull Cranberry, and coming soon, Blue Raspberry.
Yeah, and I want to thank Iran for everything that they're doing to ensure the death of everyone who processes hash. Without them, my kids wouldn't be safe.
Shout out to the father in John Wick.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. You're telling me that if you was in office and you got this nigga that's part of the enemy, that you wouldn't blow his motherfucking shit up?
Well, if he was,
I think you would. I think you would. I think any man in America, okay, a good, bad, right, or wrong, and you got this fuck nigga in the sights, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna bust this motherfucking shit wide open.
And that's fine. I guess I'm questioning why.
Oh,
they
that was
waited.
Creepy as fuck. Did you hear that, nigga?
I did. You used
the N-word
again?
I was telling you that, and my phone is locked, and it bleeped, and then Google came on and told me thank you. I couldn't have did it without you.
Yeah, that's Salamini's ghost right there. I guess I'm just wondering why, if we had him in the sights, why we waited 3 years and 8 months before an election to do it. But whatever, that's just me.
Well, they was waiting on. They had to make sure that bill and all was signed and all the paperwork was right. So
yeah, that's what they were just getting. They were just getting all their legalities down.
Yeah, because well-to-do, educated women in a fucking room get their panties in a wad when the nigga actually pulls out the fucking $1 billion bombs that we built. So
that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, shout out to fucking well-to-do, educated women in a library in $1 million home, and shout out to an old man that spray tans sitting on a gold toilet. Both of these people, by the way, represent the working people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know how much a spray tan costs? I ain't got that kind of money.
No, I ain't got that kind of money. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to convince me that motherfucking well-to-do, educated women doctors don't suck dick, too. So just throw that out there.
She probably sucked better dick than Hillary.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe if they swallowed more babies, they'd have to kill less babies. So, food for thought.
Mr. President. So, thanks to anybody that listens. This is the first episode of 2020. More to come. But most importantly, remember that even if you are in a convoy outside of an airport in your Middle Eastern country and a surface-to-air missile is slowly fucking raining down on you, and it's about to cause political and geopolitical turmoil across the world, never, ever go quietly. Peace.